What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the State of Affairs on the King Crusoe YouTube channel, the monthly update series where I talk about the things that are coming up and have come out regarding seasonal productions. Things are looking to change a little bit here starting relatively soon. I'm still making decisions and plans regarding some of that, which we will get to, I believe, in the last section of the video, but we shall see. One of the last sections of the video. I'm just looking to relax a little bit more this summer and figure some things out. But with nothing else really to say at the beginning of the video, let's just jump into kind of the updates that I have to talk about this month. Of course, first up, we're going to start with what videos came out last month. Now, as you may know if you watched last month's update, I'm not going over all of the videos that came out last month. If you want to check, you can just check the channel or the website, and everything's outlined there for you in that regard. But I do want to give a shout out to a couple of the videos that came out last month. First of all, I had my biggest and most successful book haul video, so if you haven't checked that out and you like seeing that kind of stuff, you can go check it out. I don't remember exactly how many books there were. There might have been 30-something books in that haul. There was a lot in there, at least a heck of a lot more than normal for me. My hauls tend to be on the smaller side. That one definitely wasn't. Another video that I want to shout out is that I did have a book versus movie/TV adaptation discussion video that came out that I enjoyed recording. If you want to hear a not necessarily controversial, but a little bit more of an unpopular opinion regarding that, and if you want to go there and comment what some of your thoughts on it are on it afterwards, that would be cool. And of course, I do want to apologize to anybody who happened to be looking forward to the Little Nightmares 2 Platinum review video that was supposed to come out on the 24th, I believe, the last Friday of June. I mean, of course, it's probably mostly just me that was looking forward to releasing that, but still, I did a little mid-year update on that day instead. That's still up. I'm going to keep that up. That talks about a few other things, but also talks about why the Platinum Review didn't come out on that day when it should have. I'll also be getting into that a little bit later in this video, but if you do want to check out anything that came out the last month, you can just click on the channel link down below and look at anything that came out over the last month, or even beyond that if you so desire. Next up, what writing came out on seasonalproductions.com. Nothing new came out in June, at least nothing new to report yet in terms of release, but I did finally start working on something again. I haven't done any writing since the middle of March or so, was when life and getting ready for a busy work schedule and stuff like that just kind of took over, including school, stuff like that. I just didn't have the time or the brain power to be able to write for a significant amount of time, several months. But in the middle of June, I did begin writing a new novella titled Beneath Perfection that is being written right now. I did all of the outlining for it, first of anything that I'd done on a writing project, obviously since March. I did all of the outline for that novella right after recovering from COVID. It's at the moment planned about 9 chapters and an epilogue, about 15 scenes or so. Of course, any of those stats are liable to go up or down as I see fit for what works for the story. As I write those chapters and those scenes, they should be ready to publish relatively soon. I'm looking to try to start posting them in August. We will see how quickly I am able to move through them, though. Either way, you can check out seasonalproductions.com/novellas if you want to check that out and keep an eye on that for when those chapters do begin releasing. Like I said, I want to be able to start doing them in about a month or so. Release might be a little bit more after that. Now let's talk about the videos that are coming out this month on the channel. As normal, I have a book binge episode coming out every Monday, so there will be 4 episodes in July. The first one, just as always, being my June reading wrap-up and TBR. That one's going to be a little bit more brief, shorter than normal because having COVID in June, as I outlined in the mid-year update, because that's when I talked about it, was in that update video, having COVID put me in what I'm calling a productivity slump, in the sense that I didn't just not read very much during that time, I didn't do anything during that time. Part of why the Little Nightmares video didn't come out. So if you want to know about any of that stuff, I highly recommend checking out the mid-year update video. That will be linked at the end of this one. And then the next 3 Mondays after the reading wrap up and TBR, I will have a couple reviews and another list slash ranking video, depending on how you want to identify it. The first review will be on The Wastelands by Stephen King. That'll be book 3 of The Dark Tower, and I will be covering and reviewing all of the rest of The Dark Tower. I believe all of the rest of those videos will be coming out in August and September, so stay tuned for all of that next month as well. I have a review finally coming out for Dune by Frank Herbert on the 3rd Monday of the month. That's a book that I read in February, so it was several months ago when I read that. Bit of time in between reading it and reviewing it, but I had an enjoyable time recording that one. It's one of my longer reviews, actually. And then, of course, the last episode of the book binge for July will be an episode titled 5 Fantasy Series I Want to Read in 2023 and 5 More I Want to Reread. Now, unlike my 15 fantasy series I haven't read yet but want to video that I released, I think in January, it might have been February, don't remember for certain. That video didn't really follow that number very well. If we're really talking about it, it was more like 20 fantasy series I want to read but haven't yet, with some honorable mentions to boot, so that video just kind of got out of hand. This list video actually stayed pretty consistent. I only had the 5 and the 5, and then I had one honorable mention. That's all that video talks about. A little bit shorter, so if you want to see what I am excited to read or try to read next year, I highly recommend that video out later this month. And of course, like always, I will also have a book haul video coming out on the second Friday of the month, which is actually a week from today, on the 8th of July. That will be the June book haul video, similar to the June reading wrap up and TBR. That one's going to be a little bit shorter, a little bit more brief. I didn't get that much stuff. In fact, I thought that haul was going to be so small that I couldn't and wouldn't justify making an entire video on it. But now there's a couple more items that I'm willing to talk about, at least just to have a very short video, so be excited for that. Now, in terms of my scripted reviews, stuff like a critical analysis, the Platinum Review, Count the Classics, that kind of thing, like I mentioned briefly at the very intro of this video, I don't have anything coming this month, even though originally it was going to be a Count the Classics episode on Brave New World, the classic that I read in March. However, I am going to be rethinking how I'm doing these in general. I'm thinking about doing more of a working on several episodes over the course of a shorter period of time and then releasing them more like a typical season fashion, like you would see on a normal TV series like on Disney Plus, like once a week or something like that. I haven't made up my mind for sure, but I am going to be changing how I do the reviews. The way that I have been doing it with one of these every month has worked in terms of a monthly cycle, but at the exact same time, it also took a lot of my time. And part of the reason why I wasn't able to write or do anything else that I really wanted to do for a little bit was because I had to spend a few dozen hours writing and then recording and editing one of these scripted reviews every single month. And I kind of want to steer away from every free moment that I have being working on videos. So, like I said, going to be shifting that a little bit. Haven't fully made up my mind on those things yet, but keep an eye out for that stuff because, as I said in that mid-year update video, again, I'm going to plug that video, the scripted reviews are actually probably my favorite content that I do, so I definitely do not want to get rid of those, especially since I love talking about video games, and a critical analysis is probably my favorite series that I do on this channel, so I'm not getting rid of those forever, but I am temporarily putting them on pause while I figure out what I'm doing with them. And finally, we come to the seasonal podcast. Again, similar to last month, there will be no episodes of the seasonal podcast out this month. Similar to the scripted reviews, I'm still rethinking with Lane how I will be doing the podcast. I might be doing a seasonal thing. Pun not intentional, actually. I do think that we could do a seasonal thing with the podcast, record a lot of episodes in a relatively short period of time, and then release them in a season type of structure as well. But like I said, haven't really been able to talk to him about that. We did make plans a few weeks ago, but that was right before I got COVID to do something different. But then nothing fell into place, and of course, my getting COVID and just being really sick for a week changed plans as well. So, yeah, we don't know what we're doing with the podcast yet, but at the same time, I do have to personally admit that the lack of these long slash time consuming episodes that come out on Fridays, whether that be those reviews or the seasonal podcast episodes, it's been really nice for me to be able to get back into writing a little bit and for me to have some relaxation time to be able to do some other stuff that isn't just YouTube videos all of the time. But now we come to the final bit of the content updates for this video, talking about what writing is coming out this month. I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but I don't actually have any writing that I'm going to plug in right now to actually mention coming out because nothing's fully finished yet, but I do have that novella that I am working on, which I do hope to start releasing around August. Of course, I'm still playing that by ear, but if you are interested in that, I hope you stick around and continue to watch these videos for when I'm able to update you on those coming out. And now that I actually have my full video release schedule back in order again, let's talk about some channel and website statistics. I'm not going to spend too much time on these, just want to go over what occurred since I'm recording this on June 29th, what I got from June 1st through June 28th on the channel. I got 141 views, which is a significant amount more than last time, compared to 86 views in May. I got a total of 9.9 watch hours this month, as opposed to 8.7 in May. So a little bit of an increase, but I think most of that has to do with the fact that I released more of my book binge episodes this month. In May, I want to say I only had 2 episodes of that come out. It might have been 3, but this month I had the normal 4, as well as, like I mentioned earlier, I had that pretty successful book haul video. It was my biggest and my most viewed, longest watched one, so I think that particularly added to that. In addition, I also had a net gain of 3 subscribers in June compared to a net loss of 3 subscribers in May, so I've kind of broke even over the last couple months. But 3 is certainly better than nothing. And in terms of website stats for June 1st through June 28th, I had 137 total visits, 157 page views. I don't have any comparisons for these compared to May since the website was offline for all of May. It just came back on June 1st, but I'm excited to get some comparisons for maybe next month. This month by itself was definitely a lot more successful than January was, which was my most successful of the first 3 months that it was online as well. So that's really exciting. And as we come to the end of this video, I just want to say thank you for the really successful month on my channel and on my website. Here's looking forward to a really great July as well. Of course, going to wrap this up like normal, saying this is the end of the video. Make sure you go check out seasonalproductions.com for all of my video and writing content. Got all sorts of exciting stuff coming out for the channel and for the website all the time. Especially be prepared for Beneath Perfection. So thank you guys for watching this video. I'll be back on Monday on the 4th of July with another episode of the Book Binge. I will see you then.